and welcome back to another episode with me, Miss Envy. Yes, it's been a while, and gosh, how much has happened in the time since we last met up. But it's okay. I'm back, and it's time to dive into some TikTok videos I found interesting and I thought I'd like to share with you. Instead of me sitting on my phone texting you guys all day, I'd rather just put it up here and you all get addressed simultaneously. So sit back, relax, and let's get curious.
You had mentioned several times that you think that the UFO, UAP phenomena stuff is all spiritual.
I'm satisfied that I know enough, and I don't really want to know that much more. Because what I think I know is, this doesn't help me at all to know that. So that's a conclusion I've reached. I'm usually pretty curious. I've stopped being curious about this because I don't want to know anymore.
You truly don't want to know any more
Nope.
about it?
I think I know. I think I know what's up. So I can't prove it, so probably not going to articulate it, but I think I know what's up, yeah.
Can you articulate it?
Well, I think it's a really old story. I think it's a really old story, so.
What is it?
Well, one, I'm a Christian, and I'm fairly sincere about it. I try to be sincere about it.
What was it that led you to believe?
Talking to a lot of people, I was really shocked by what credible people told me. I became completely satisfied, I'll say that they were not lying, and that they were right or in the vicinity of right. And then I was like, whoa, I'm out. Because I don't need to go farther than that. I mean, I think that the real struggles are unseen. That is absolutely a part of Christian theology. I didn't fully appreciate it at all. The belief that the real struggles are in the spiritual realm. That has been a constant belief since the beginning of history, recorded history. Everybody has thought that, except us in the West, since 1945. So once you get perspective on this question, you're like, okay, that may sound crazy to someone who thinks buying on Amazon is the meaning of life, but to every other person in the world, we may disagree about what the truth is. I'm sure we will, but we will never disagree with the fact that there's a lot of shit going on that we cannot see or measure with our senses. That is absolutely true. What I find so striking about the UFOs, this is the main takeaway I have, is like, there's this debate, is this stuff, these phenomena, which are clearly, obviously real, I mean, there's no debate about that. There's a lot that people can't explain in the sky and underwater. We know that. Fact. So the debate is this government technology? Is it from outer space, or is it some spiritual realm here? I've already told you my view of it. But what I find so interesting, we know the government's lied about it. They're lying about it now. That's a fact. There's no way around that. They have absolutely lied about it in very elaborate ways. I am really struck. Here's my current thinking on it. The main effort that the U.S. government has put into its disinformation, its lying on this topic, has been not to mislead you on the technology. They're not telling me they don't have anti-gravity technology. It sounds from watching your podcast that they do. Their main interest is in convincing you that the supernatural is not real. And if you watch, and there are people in the media who specialize in spreading these lies on behalf of the government. I'm not going to name anybody, but like some of them work. Once you realize what the point of the exercise is, it's crazy. And I hope you'll assess all the fact-checking and the skepticism on UAPs through this lens. The main thing they want you to believe is the supernatural is not real. Well, then you have to ask yourself, like, why?
That's interesting.
It is so interesting. Why is that important to you? Why do you care if I think the supernatural is real? Like, why is that? First of all, why is it? How dare you, as my government, try to get involved in my spiritual beliefs? That's totally not your area. So out of there, okay, A. But B, why has that been so important for 80 years for you to convince me the supernatural is not real? Why? Why is that? And of course I can't answer the question, but my gut level response is, well, because if it is real. Whatever they're telling you is not real, and if they're punishing you for saying something you know for a fact it's not real, you're not allowed to say that. Oh, not because they don't have no problem with me lying, because they lie for a living. So lying brings no sanction. You can lie all you want. What you can't do is tell the truth. That is a fact. So once you know that, you can sort of reverse engineer their lies and know with some certainty that whatever they're telling you is not true is in fact true. That's exactly the truth. It's exactly the truth. But then you have to ask motive. Like, it's not a profit motive. Like, does it make them rich to deny that there's supernatural forces? No. What is that? And I don't know the answer. But the obvious answer is, well, because they sort of know they're working for supernatural forces, actually. And I think that's probably true.
Is there a specific reason or a handful of reasons, or is this a hunch that you believe that they're working with the supernatural realm or have a relation?
Well, I can't prove that. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm suggesting that. I'm not saying it because I can't prove it, but I'm suggesting it. And if you're asking whether I believe it, the answer is yes. But I believe that for two reasons. One, because I've told that directly by a couple of people who I think seem knowledgeable, and I attach some weight to that.
So, do you believe in the supernatural? I do. I'd like to think that there's something behind what ghosts are, what creepy phenomena are. If you look at my account as a whole, I explore all these subjects not because I like getting scared or jump scared. In fact, I'm actually against that, which I'll discuss another day. But my keen interest is finding out, why are they working, the proverbial they, why are they working so hard to convince us that there's no such thing as the supernatural? It's, I don't want to go into religion now, but I want you guys to think about it as well. Think about what the supernatural means to you. Have you ever had a supernatural experience before? What did it do to you? What did it make you feel? How did it change your worldview? Yeah.
By 2027, wearable technology will stop optimizing your health. It will start optimizing your obedience. Already in silent beta on 2 major platforms, the next phase isn't heart rate tracking, it's heart rate shaping. Small pulses, invisible to you, perfectly tuned to delay your anger, your fear, your action by half a second. Just enough time to make you think you chose surrender. By 2029, 74% of daily human decision-making will be governed by subconscious biofeedback nudges. The next revolution isn't information control, it's emotional frequency engineering, and the quiet heartbeat you trust. It's already being rehearsed for your compliance. You didn't lose your fight. They slowed it until you forgot you ever had one.
It's really scary to think that AI might get to a point where it controls our emotions, that we won't even have something called instinct, that we will think it's our idea when it's not. If this isn't mind control, I don't know what is.
The Class 7s, we believe, are aggressive. They appear to want to encroach on us and get over us. The Class 5 we saw yesterday seemed to put itself between us and the Class 7, and the Class 7 then egressed to the north and the east. The Class 5 we call the manta ray. It looks to be like is written a manta ray. It has round everywhere. I don't think there's anything straight or nearly straight. We actually went frame by frame on this because it was tumbling slowly and derived a 3D model of what we think it looks like. Here you can see it tumbling and spinning on multiple axes as it comes through the frame.
And you said this is going perpendicular to the wind and faster than the wind.
Yes, it was on radar, it was on imagery, multiple bands, and the interesting thing is the radar shows this vibrating as well, the same heartbeat signal, which is really a boost in our analysis because only UAPs appear to have the vertical and horizontal heartbeat. Manned aircraft, balloons, birds, drones, they don't. They have a flat line trajectory and also a flat line radar signature.
Did you know that we have more knowledge about outer space than we do of the bottom of the ocean floor? I'm your biggest UFO fan, have been since I was 7. So for me to finally see videos and public exposure to the idea that there's something called aliens and UFOs and, well, sorry, nowadays it's UAPs, is mind-blowing. But I know so much now that now I question what I see, especially when it comes to folks like this classifying different objects flying in the sky. So when I see that, I think, they're making us look up here, but maybe we should be looking down here. I don't know, I feel like they've always been here and they're playing with us. They're playing with us.
Alright, I don't get political, but just listen to what this guy's about to say. This recording was done in 2014. Call me conspiracy theorist, call me whatever you want, but just listen what he's saying, what's happening right now between the US and other countries. Wow.
World wars change worlds, and if you have a global agenda, then global problems allow you to offer global solutions. This is an agenda that's projected a long way forward. The Muslim world being brought into a war with the political Zionism, what today we call Israel, and that this would, you know, in my terms, create a vortex that would draw in the world, in our terms, America, the European Union, NATO, into this war. I mean, I know it's hard to believe for anyone frickin' sane. And then you've got what I've been saying now way back in the 1990s. The idea is for this Third World War to involve Russia and China against the West. Yeah. And what's opening up in the Ukraine, while all this is starting to go on in the Middle East, is another front against Russia. The United States is preparing for a war against Russia through Ukraine, and that what they plan is to try to take Crimea back. Saudi Arabia and Qatar, there are 51st states of the United States, there are many of those, mind, funding this ISIS and funding this terrorism, while the Americans, who could tell them to stop any time, are saying, are condemning the very terrorism that their 51st states are supporting. Well, the picture's so bloody obvious. It's a setup. When you look at it from this perspective, what is happening in the Middle East is not random. None of it's been random. Libya's not been random. Syria's not been random. None of it. And ISIS certainly isn't random. It's part of this long-term plan to take over the world by creating enormous chaos to which they can offer the order out of the chaos, their order, their new world order. When we realize that, we can see that events are not random, but coldly calculated. These people are sheer, undiluted evil. And people need to understand that, otherwise they will reject that anyone could do what they're doing and kill and maim and slaughter so many people. They can do it because they have no heart, they have no empathy, they have no emotional compassion, and thus mayhem is their currency, and they have no emotional consequence. They are not like us, so don't judge what they'll do by what you would do, because it ain't the same thing.
That guy that just spoke now, his name is David Icke. I've been aware of him since I was very young. My dad used to read all his books. And a long time ago, he was known as a nutcase. Nobody liked listening to him. They all thought he was a nut job. And now, look. This video, what did the guy say at the start of the video? This video happened a long time ago. And now look where we're at. We're on the brink of World War III. Isn't that interesting? Go check him out. He's just to remind us that the bad guys don't always win.
We have some crazy things happening in the world right now. An AI model blackmailed an engineer to avoid being shut down. A kindergartner handed out Jell-O shots at school. Harvard's unofficial Magna Carta turned out to be an original. This book club in Austin has been reading the same book for 12 straight years. Russia is trying to ban Game of Thrones and Harry Potter for promoting child-free ideology. Poundland, the UK's $1 store, is being sold for exactly £1. France is opening a new high-security prison in the Amazon jungle. Netflix will start showing AI-generated ads midway through streams by 2026. People are not traveling to Japan as much this summer because a Japanese manga predicted that on July 5th, a massive tsunami is going to hit that's 3 times bigger than the 2011 tsunami. A senior hearing aid program in Quebec only apparently covers one ear, and people are not happy about that. It makes sense. Microsoft has a new report out that claims that office employees are interrupted by important meetings, emails, and chats every 2 minutes.
I heard about that story of the kid taking Jell-O shots to the school. His mother was asked to provide cupcakes to the usual cupcake sales or the potluck for school get-togethers, and she took it upon herself to go and do something a little different and give people and children vodka shots. Like, come on.
my god.
I've been saying it for the longest time. Stay away from amusement parks. 20, 30 years ago, maybe it was safe. But even then, now we have Boeings falling out of the sky. And you guys are still climbing onto these machines? No thanks.
South Africans are furious about this. There have been several videos going viral of a Zulu parade in New Orleans in the United States. And what's made so many people angry is how they are dressed and how what they are wearing looks nothing like traditional Zulu attire. The Americans who support the Zulu parade say this is a tradition they have been doing in New Orleans for decades and that South Africans are misinterpreting it. Americans have defended this parade by saying it actually has nothing to do with the real Zulu tribe in South Africa. They say it's just the name. However, on the side of the bus, it literally says African Zulu. Also, if you go onto their official website, there are many references to the actual Zulu tribe in South Africa. For example, one of their characters is known as a Zulu witch doctor. A witch doctor is a South African name and a South African term. It literally says here on the site, in Zulu's ancestral land of Africa, the witch doctor is referred to as a sorcerer, prophet, or healer. So it seems this group does link itself to the actual Zulu tribe. So do you think this is offensive to the Zulu culture? Let me know what you think in the comments.
As far as I can remember, I think that's called cultural appropriation. And the folks that are the first ones to bleat about this are the Americans. Yet here we are. Now, I'm South African, but not Zulu. But I kind of feel embarrassed for the Americans. Like, come on, guys. If you're gonna do stuff like that, do it right. And perhaps also get permission. Right, so I'm an artist. I like to paint. But have you ever seen someone make art by breaking glass? What next? You get some folks that think throwing a tin of paint on a canvas is art, and then you get this. And I do believe that there is a line to be drawn when it comes to what is art and what is not. I really do feel quite strongly about this. Came across this and thought, wow, just look at that. Ooh, I get tingles. Can you imagine? Stunning. Stunning, stunning, stunning. Wow. Oh wow, so that's gone three-dimensional. Oh, I wonder how many cuts this guy's had. They say that a shard of glass is sharper than a, what was it? Sharper than a needle? Yeah.
This video is insane. Have you seen it?
Get this. Scientists in Russia have confirmed that they now know what happens to you after you die. I'm not talking about your body, that's just fucking worm food, we all know that. I mean, your spirit, if you like, your consciousness. I read it on the Russian version of Google last night called Yandex. I don't know why this is not all over fucking media right now. I've not slept a wink. So, if you don't know, Russia's largest tech company, Vladtech, have spent the last 10 years creating an interface to your brain that somehow embeds a code into every atom of you. So when you die, they can then locate that code within you, and it's like an Apple AirTag, but on a more expensive, grander level. So they can basically see where your electricity, spirit, and memories go to. And they call it a SIC code, soul identity code or something like that. And what they just discovered was fucking mind-blowing.
I'll stop it there, but essentially he ends by saying that they found a signal in a different galaxy that's like 100 billion light years away. I've been seeing this video everywhere and we need to talk about it. This thing got so much engagement. People are talking about how it's legit, how it's not legit. While it sounds cool that they can embed code into every cell like an Apple AirTag, let's think about that. Or even when he talks about the signal being found in a galaxy 100 billion light years away, If nothing moves faster than the speed of light within this reality, how long would it take to receive that signal? This Vlad Tech company out of Russia, just go Google, does Vlad Tech exist? And that's my point. Like, this video has been shared so much. I have seen it on TikTok. I have seen it on Twitter. I have seen it on Instagram. It just takes a simple going to his profile to see short stories, the narcissist, the pathological liar, Jim Bob. People are asking like AI, like, hey, is this true? You don't need to outsource to AI. You just need to ask yourself, does this sound true? If it doesn't sound true, maybe go to the profile, click on it, and see who is talking about this. Media literacy, media literacy. We don't fall for hype and emotion. We stay balanced. We listen to intuition. I love you guys. There is so much nonsense out there. You need to stay balanced so you can listen to truth.
So basically, this guy came across an article, a Russian research article about how our DNA or our soul has an ID attached to it, an identity, and once you die, it can be monitored. And there's an example of someone that passed away. They kept track of his ID and basically where his soul went, and within, I don't know, a very short space of time, I haven't watched the video in a while, that identity tracker, like an AirTag, an Apple AirTag, showed up, I think, on the other side of some other, the furthest galaxy in the universe. Explain that. Make it make sense. All right, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in again. I am hopefully going to be back on here a lot more often, but I'm not going to promise anything. You know how these things go. Hope you enjoyed today's show, and I hope I can inspire you a little bit to be more curious about your world. Thank you so much for sticking around. Take care. Bye-bye.